What's good, y'all, man? It is your boy, Sniper Cakes, and I have a treat for you guys. In today's interview, I'm interviewing Fabian. So he owns multiple companies, three different companies. He owns a multi-million-dollar plumbing, manufacturing, and Airbnb business. So the great thing about this video is that he started working with me and he started to elevate his reselling business on top of all the businesses that he has. So again, multi-millionaire, being able to elevate himself based off learning the foundational pieces with reselling. Guys, make sure you stay until the end of the video because there's some gems here. And also, if you want to learn how to elevate your business, make sure you tap into the free live training that is going down. Link is in the description section. This is going to be phenomenal, life-changing. But let's go into the video. Yes, sir. Hey, what's up, Fabian? How you doing, brother? You doing good?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, awesome, awesome, awesome. So super excited to, get on this call with Fabian. So Fabian, you have been crushing it, with reselling. And the great thing about you is that you just have business owner mindset. You own 50 million businesses, plumbing company, Airbnb, manufacturing, you name it. But you had such high success in reselling because you understood the importance of treating it like a business. So I want to get the viewers today, your mindset on how you approach reselling. And again, your goal is to do over $1 million in revenue in 2025, and you're well on your way. And we're going to talk about bulk buying, kind of the different things that allowed you to kind of progress and grow. And I'm going to be very, very, very intrigued and, listen, and viewers, listen up in this video because you're talking to somebody that understands the process of business. Because Fabian, most resellers are lazy. They're lazy. They want things to come, very fast. They want get rich quick things. But in any business, it's going to take time, effort, and you got to understand the analytics and the systems. So before we kind of talk about and go in a deep dive on what you're doing and what I've been helping you, I want you to kind of let the viewers know, like, what were you doing before reselling, and what was it like selling your first sneaker? So like, what, give everybody your background and tell us, like, what was that experience of selling your first sneaker?
Yeah, so my background, so like you said, originally, I went to school USC for entrepreneurship, USC Trojans here in Los Angeles. So coming out of college, I focused on entrepreneurship, exactly that, starting a business. So the first thing I really got into was plumbing. Was able to grow that. Last year we did just shy of 4 million in revenue, and then we also do manufacturing. So we have a patent for an earthquake activated gas shutoff valve, shuts off your gas in a 5.2 or greater earthquake. And then I also do Airbnb listings. So I've kind of understand the processes of different businesses. It's all at the end of the day, it's like it's the same thing, just a different concept, right? So it all starts with the foundation. You want to make sure you have your foundation set. So for me, I've always had a passion with sneakers growing up. I'm sure like a lot of people did, buying Jordans when they came out, waiting in line, doing that whole thing. And then when I started like my first, I would say like when I got into reselling sneakers was really this year. And it was mainly because I had bought like I had a pretty extensive collection and I would consign shoes at Goat at Alias, right? So the one of the guys who I knew one of the managers there, and he was just like, this is like a legit business. You can really get into this and make it, into a thing. A lot of people are making really good money doing this, and I would go like, a little bit more frequently and see, a lot of the same people just bringing in high volumes, so I did see the opportunity there. So that's what I kind of did. I started off like most people do. Like I went to Facebook Marketplace, started doing research, seeing where I could start buying some more bulk purchases, not like what I'm doing now by any means, but just getting my feet wet, a couple thousand here, a couple thousand there. Made a lot of mistakes in the beginning,
Yeah.
for sure. It wasn't like an easy road, but once I like tested the concept and found that it was something that I wanted to do, I went ahead and started laying the foundation. Once that was when I started reaching out to you, and once I realized that, that's when I formed the LLC. Um, started building my business credit. I already had pre-existing relationship with the bank, so they were able to finance the company, give me a $50,000 credit line, 0% interest for a year. Um, and on a new LLC that had been formed less than 2 months, you know. So really just like getting all the licensing, doing all that. And then once I had that foundation laid, then I knew I can start practicing much better concepts or much better practices than what I originally was doing, you know, and that's when we started working together. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome, Fabian. So again, business background, which is huge because again, like the manager and Alias talked about, like you can make some real money with reselling. It's a legitimate business, but you got to treat it as such, which is huge. So, we've been working together for a few months. So, what are some things that you learned in these past few months that allowed you to really elevate your business? Like, what are some of those concepts, really working with me that you learned and it clicked that allowed you to progress and grow?
Yeah, well, one is how to analyze the market, right? Because I would first buy based off of what I like, right? Like, oh, I like this shoe, I'm going to buy a lot of those, or I like that one, I'm going to buy a lot of those, which to a certain extent does work, you know. But to do it on a much larger scale, you have to look at the data, like the how much of the shoes are being sold, like more of the concepts behind on how to make smarter decisions, and then the network as well. Like if it wasn't for the community, there's no way I would have been able to acquire, you know, hundreds of pairs of shoes consistently. You know, I just didn't have the resources to do that. You know, it would have taken, not to say I probably could have got them eventually, but it would have
Right.
taken a lot of time. You know,
Yeah.
it saved me a lot of time you know, being stuck in a rut, which kind of I was before I started being a member of the community and reaching out and really being humble and asking for help. You know, that's the
Yeah.
whole thing. A closed mouth doesn't get fed. So, you know, just networking, being able to meet people who are like-minded and also like understand the concepts behind what are good buys and what aren't, you know?
Yeah, that's great, Fabian. And I love what you said is you having a humble spirit because let's be real, you own multi-million dollar businesses. You're very successful. And a lot of times ego and be like, man, I'm gonna figure this out myself is the dumbest thing because you can have a cheat code and a cheat sheet to get somewhere faster. Mostly with successful people, they understand it's like speed is so important. So you hooking up with me, it allowed you to scale your business where you're getting hundreds of pairs at a time that allows you to get to where you're at today. So that's something I really appreciate you. Even though you're super successful, own multi-million dollar business, you have such a humble spirit, and that's why you have so much success. So you talked a little bit about bulk buying, Fabian. So what has bulk buying done for you? Like what would that concept? People love
Yeah.
the concept called buying. What has that done for you?
So one, it saved a lot of time, right? So I don't have to go hunt for one pair of shoes here, five pairs of shoes there. I can reach out to people and really be able to buy at a much better price um and just more consistency, right? I would say it's more consistent. And then also once I've kind of built relationships with some distributors, I utilize StockX Flex a lot, so I trust them to, you know, I'll send them the label and they'll ship it out directly to StockX Flex. So that saves me a lot of
Drop
time.
shipping.
Essentially drop
You're
shipping.
right.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. So essentially, yeah, that saved me a lot of time. So, and it's not a new concept, like you said, it's something people do all the time, right? But it's just finding a new application, building a relationship, and it's not something that I just did right away,
Right.
obviously. It took me some time to build that comfort level to be able to do it. So, and then you know, like for me, a lot of people have different ways of formatting a business, right? Some people want to buy you know 50 pairs and sell them, you know, within the same week. I'm more focused on like having residual income. So I'm fine with listing, you know, like right now on Flex, I probably have 250 pairs of shoes or so. And so I'm fine with selling 5, 10, 15 pairs a day and getting residual income while I'm sleeping. You know, I'll wake up, have anywhere from, you know, the lowest maybe $1,000, the highest 4,200 per day in sales, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm fine with that. I don't have to, you know, go out and try to sell everything at once, you know.
Yeah, That's very wise and very there's maturity with that because again, you're getting sneakers that are demanded, but you're okay having 250 sneakers because they're going to sell 5 a day. And it's like residual income where you're making money while you're sleeping. So that is a mature mind kind of progressing and growing. So you're a very busy individual. You own multiple companies that are very successful, multi-million dollar companies. So I hear this a lot. People say, man, I just don't have the time to
Mhm.
resell. But you debunk all of those excuses because if I'm looking from the outside in, you're the guy. They're like, there's no way you can add reselling into your life. So how are you able to discipline your schedule and be able to grow you're going to hit $1 million this year. How you're able to build $1 million business when you own other multi-million dollar businesses.
Yeah, well, it's exactly that, not making excuses, right? And allotting a certain amount of time. Like in the beginning, it's going to take more time to
Yep.
lay the foundation, like forming everything, building the relationships. But as time progresses, you don't like for me, I mean, I still put in a solid amount of time, a few maybe 2 to 3 hours a day, but it's gotten progressively less. And especially as I like the way that I work, I kind of like build a relationship with one person and then I'll do it. I don't want to like work with like 4 or 5 different people at once
Yep.
because it's just too much to deal with. So I'll work with a few suppliers at a time, build the relationship, and then they know that I'm trustworthy and I keep my word at the end of the day. And then so it just eliminates a lot of the white noise, of just like of all the different directions you can go, right? You just focus on a few things, but I would say just time management, like and not making excuses for yourself and just putting in maybe 1, 2 hours a day. That's what I did when I started, and then some days it's more, some days it's less, and maybe you won't get to it, but try to make it up the next day, you know.
Yeah, that's good. And again, calendar planning, time management. Because at the end of the day, Fabian, we all have 24 hours in a day, but most people feel like they're busy. But if you look at their screen time, it's at 8 hours. So it's just
Oh
calendar
yeah.
planning, being able to prioritize what you want. When you have the no excuse mentality like yourself, you have success. And that's one of the biggest things that is huge with that. So, Fabian, what is some advice you have for someone that is new? And guys, if you didn't catch it in the beginning of this video, Fabian is not in, he hasn't been reselling for years. Like he's still fairly new with this. But again,
Yeah.
the speed of his learning has been accelerated because he's been able to learn from individuals that have been doing it for years. Like I've been doing it full time for the past 6 years, so I can transfer that knowledge to him that can speed his time. So,
Yeah.
what is some things or mindset you can give for people that are starting to resell to allow them to have success? Because a lot of time with business, it's all about mindset.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I would say just, you know, give yourself some time to put into it and then surround yourself with like-minded individuals. Like for me, I would say just be humble and just be willing to admit that other people do know more than you in this industry, and you it's okay to ask for help, and a lot of people will want to help you. I've actually had really positive experiences. You would think that, oh, this person might not want to share his resources or that person might not want to, but I've had actually the opposite, experiences where people are really willing to help you and really open and encouraging. So just be open, humble, and really just willing to put in the work. It's nobody's going to do it for you, and to be successful, it's not for everyone. So just if you want to separate yourself, just be willing to put in the work and put yourself out there. You know.
Awesome. Appreciate that mindset. And the last question that I have for you, Fabian, and this is going to help some people. You already talked about first about, kind of a lesson that you learned, a mistake of not just getting sneakers that you like, and you got to get sneakers that are actually going to be profitable, demanded. What's another mistake that you made early on in your reselling career that you learned from that you can help the viewers with? It's like, okay, I made those mistakes, but I was able to overcome and be where I'm at
Yeah.
today. What's another mistake that you made?
Yeah, I would say honestly, that's probably the biggest one. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would say just also, really the being very careful with the people that you work with,
Yeah.
because it does go both ways. Like there are distributors out there who are really just after themselves,
Yeah.
and I like in the beginning, I diversified, so, and I still do. I don't just sell sneakers, I sell clothing, I sell designer like chrome
Yeah.
hearts, different types of clothing. So people will try to get over on you if you're naive, so
Yes.
just also
Absolutely.
be aware that, not everyone is out to be your friend, but there are people out there, good people out there trying to help you too.
Yeah,
So,
that's really good.
you know,
That's really good, Fabian. Man, this was a pleasure doing this interview. And again, I admire Fabian's, his ability to be humble because let's be real. Like I said, he's very, very successful, but understanding like he can learn more and he can actually build another business that can provide for his family has been a phenomenal experience. So, again, you've been crushing it. A lot of bulk sneakers, awakes, stuff, designer sneakers. So you've been diversifying and understanding the analytics, and that's why your business has excelled and skyrocketed, like most people would dream of. But it's just because you put in the work and you prioritize. But guys, this is a gem interview again. If you need to rewatch it because there is so much great mindset, and success doesn't happen by accident. There's always, always, always a plan that came before the success. So, Fabian, I appreciate you so much for giving some gems to the viewers, and I'm looking forward to see your success
yeah,
continue.
and I appreciate the opportunity to speak. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely,
pleasure.
brother. Absolutely, brother, man. Talk to you soon.
All right, you have a good day.
You too. I see you. So, guys, such great gems from Fabian in that video. Again, a very successful person, but he was able to build a reselling business that his goal is to do $1 million in revenue with reselling, implementing the system for bulk suppliers, being able to utilize different selling channels. Therefore, he can move forward. Again, if you want to learn how to do this, make sure at my free live training link is in the description section. You do not want to miss out, man. Reselling is a fun business. Like Fabian said, you got to treat it like a business. If you do, you will have success. Really do appreciate you guys. Make sure you're at the live trading. Let's go. See you soon. Sniper Kicks out. Peace.